We're all looking for something. We're all looking for hope. Hope you can't just have just because you were born with hope. No, we're born with pain. We're born and live through difficulties. And in our life, we have a choice. Either to be angry for what we don't have, or be thankful for what we do have. The greatest thing is love. When we feel like we don't have enough love and we don't have enough hope, we start losing strength to live. And the world is a hurting place, and the world needs hope, and the world needs love. Without hope, we feel like, why are we here? Truth encourages me to become all that I can be. But then we have lies every day coming in our mind, people who discourage us. You know the people that you have in your life who, no matter how good of a day you're having, they'll bring you down. Or no matter how bad of a day you're having, they'll bring you even lower. You know what I'm talking about? Think of the 3 biggest discouragers in your life. They're not your biggest discouragers. You are. You are. It only takes 3 seconds for me to tell you something discouraging. But then you may never forget my words. Words are powerful. When you hear those words and then your mind starts growing with these lies. What's the word? Believing in something you do not see. Faith. Words can only do so much. Hugs can do much more than words. But when hugs can't do anything, that's where faith kicks in. Every single human being has value, and my value is not determined on how I look or what job I have or where I'm from, where I was born, how much money. All that stuff is nothing. Why do we look ourselves in the mirror and see ugly instead of valuable? I want to ask you today, what are you looking for? If I gave you $1 billion, would you be happy? But then if my mum dies tonight, am I happy? No. With all the money in the world, I'll never be happy. Why? Because money is something that cannot heal the soul. Love is a lifelong commitment. You see, there are choices in life, and we're looking. I want to ask you, what are you looking for? Well, if I can just get drunk, why not, man? I only live once. Well, if that's the way you believe, great. But for me, I'm a greedy man. I don't want to live for 90 years. I want to live for billions of years. And I know that every day my choices will affect this life, other people's life, and my eternal life. You got to come to the truth of knowing who you are and why you're here. William Barclay, he said, the greatest 2 days in anyone's life, the day you were born and the day you knew why. We have the heart of people to love others. We want people to love each other, love yourself, dream big, and never give up. We're all looking for hope, aren't we? What are you looking for? Money, drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, fame, fortune never satisfies. It's never enough. Of when you don't get a miracle, you can be a miracle for someone else. I am not a superhero. I go through ups and downs. So do you. But take one day at a time. And if you haven't found that peace of knowing who you are and why you're here and where you're going when you're not here. There is brokenness in this world, and we understand there's brokenness in each and every one of us. But there is hope. You know, there are times in life where fear disables you more than having no limbs. And you know, there are just times in life where things happen that don't make sense, and you have a choice. You have a choice with either just continuing on as best as you can and just believing what you see, or actually starting to believe in the things you cannot see. If there is a real hope out there, it has to work for you and me and your family and every single person around the world in any given circumstance. There are some people who believe that there is hope if you're just a positive person. If you just have positivity, then everything's going to be okay. And it's interesting how we as human beings, when we feel like we're going through a valley, we just can't wait to get to the next valley. And sometimes you go into valleys that you just can't be positive in. How can you be positive when your 13-year-old boy has leukemia and you don't know where he's going when he takes his last breath? How can you go to someone in a developing country who's been sold into slavery by their own parents? Tell them to be positive. You know, I want you to know that there has to be a hope. And I have seen a real hope, and it's alive in me. And you know, when you don't see the big picture and you don't see the full picture, it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense to believe in something you do not see. I think the biggest disability that we have as human beings is unbelief. Everything starts with a vision, and a man without vision dies. There are some times where you're going to wish that you could rewind and do things all over again. There are times where you just wish you could forget memories, and you try to drown those memories in alcohol or different pleasures, and maybe get distracted by the goals and ambitions of your life and try to put the past behind and move forward. We're all human beings. Yes, you will have good days and you'll have bad days, but you will always learn something more or something new, and you will learn more overall on bad days than good days. You will learn more about yourself, you'll learn more about relationships, you'll learn about life and principles, and it'll build your character. If you're a person who wants to, let's say, improve on your character of patience, let's say, don't complain when you're waiting in a line. You ain't going to grow in patience until you're put in a place to wait. You know how it is. If you didn't go what you've gone through, you wouldn't be who you are today. You may have arms and legs, but unless you know three things. Number one, who are you and what your value is? Number two, what is your purpose here in life? And number three, what is your destiny when you're done here? If you don't know the answers of any of those three questions, you're more disabled than I. There are no walls. Find your peace, and you'll make your walls doors.